Yo, what's going on guys? Krafti here, and I've decided to do a bit of an update video. So the Taken King, which is the next expansion for Destiny, is due to hit in a couple of months. But I've reached a point where I've pretty much burnt myself out on House of Wolves, which was the last DLC. I thought it would be a good idea to show you the gear and weapons I've collected over the past year of Destiny and sort of let you in on the things I still want, need and have to earn before the Taken King drops in September. As you guys can see, I've got 3 characters all at the max level cap of 34. A hunter, a warlock and a titan. So let's go in and see what I've got in my vault. I'm sure you guys can imagine the insane level of organisation this took to get everything in. I still can't believe Bungie haven't addressed this yet. But anyway, I've pretty much got all but a few of the exotic weapons in the game, as well as all the exotic armour pieces for all characters. The same goes for the raid weapon and gear sets for Vault of Glass and Crota's End. But let's kick things off with the exotic weapons. There's currently 27 in the game, I believe. I have 23 of those. So I've been lucky enough in the sense that I've got a crazy amount of them purely from Nightfalls. I've got a few from running both raids 3 times a week and from Xur, but the majority have been from Nightfalls. Now bear in mind, I do have a lot of triplicates for quite a few of these guns, purely because it's a lot more convenient having one on each character than having to use the app to hot swap every time I need a gun. Just picture how frustrating that was before they added that feature into the Destiny app. So I've got an Icebreaker, Thunderlord and I believe a Vex Mythic class per character, but the one I really want to be able to have on each character is Galahorn. Unfortunately, I've only ever managed to get one to drop for me in the 670 plus hours I put into this game. Damn, it actually sounds scary when I say it out loud like that. The time sink is real guys, the time sink is most definitely real. Now a lot of these guns are still unleveled, either because I acquired them recently or because I hardly use them. I have been trying to get every single one upgraded to max attack, which is currently at 365, but it is a process. At the moment I'm focusing on getting Hawkmoon, Thorn, The Last Word, Red Death and Mitre Multi-Tool fully leveled purely because of how frequently I use these guns. So I've been grinding out those bounties, just trying to get those leveled up. So moving on to the Vault of Glass weapons, I've got all of them except I think Praetorian Foil, which is the fusion rifle. If I'm being honest, ever since the huge fusion rifle nerf months ago, I never really used them. Before that, I swear to god, fusion rifles were so overpowered in the Crucible. It was genuinely insane. For that reason, I haven't really been pushing to get it, but still the collector in me needs it to complete the full set. And I think out of all of the VOG weapons, my favourite has to be Fatebringer and Vision of Confluence. Amazing guns even when they haven't been ascended. Next up are the Crota's End weapons. These ones were actually ridiculously easy to get. I honestly don't know if the drop rate was glitched out when I completed the first couple of raids, but I specifically remember after running hard mode I think twice, I had all the primaries. The only one that took me a long time to get was Black Hammer, and even that I got within the first 4 or 5 raids at a stretch. I use Hunger of Crota religiously. It's basically a mini Galahorn, and since I don't have 3 of those lying around, I have to make do with the Hunger. So if we move on to the Hunter exotic armor pieces, we have the Acleophage Symbiote, which adds an extra golden gun shot to your super. Following that, we have the ATS-A Arachnid, which zooms in your golden gun. Honestly, pointless exotic, I hardly use it. Next, we have Mask of the Third Man, reducing how quick your super drains and replenishing health each time you pick up an orb. Then we have Celestial Nighthawk, the newest exotic helm, which basically supercharges your golden gun. Decent, but I would still pick Acleophage over this every single time. And rounding off the exotic helms, we have Knucklehead Raider, another pointless but cool looking helm. Exotic perk here keeps the Raider active whilst zoomed in with primaries. Moving on to the gauntlets, we have Kepri Sting, which grants invisibility when crouching, followed by Young Ahamkara Spine, which increases the time trip mines stay up, and then my favourite, the Don't Touch Me gauntlets, which turn you invisible whenever you're hit by a melee attack, useful in PvE and PvP. Next up, we have the exotic chest pieces, starting off with Lucky Raspberry, purely niche perk which improves your Arcbolt grenade. Pass on this if you're thinking of getting it. And then we have my pick between the two, Crest of Alpha Lupi, which allows you to revive teammates faster, which comes in super handy in respawn restricted Crucible game modes, like for example Trials of Osiris and Salvage. And last but not least, we have the Radiant Dance Machines, which boost move speed, basically allowing you to strafe while shooting. Alright, so moving on to the Vault of Glass gear set for the Hunter, we have the Prime Zealot Helm, Gloves, Cuirass and Greaves, and then finally the Shattered Vault Cloak. If we switch over to the Crota's End gear set for the Hunter, we have the Unyielding Casque, Dogged Gauge, Relentless Harness and the Tireless Striders, with the Shroud of Flies topping off the look. If we go into shaders and equip Cryptographic, the normal mode shader for completing Crota's End, it basically enhances the colours of the gear set, making the red really pop out. Glow Hue is the shader you get for completing hard mode, and as the name suggests, it turns into a freaking glow. Next we have the Prison of Elders gear set. We have the Kell Hunter's Sight, Kell Hunter's Rally, Kell Hunter's Blood and Kell Hunter's Hood. I don't have the boots yet purely because I chose to ascend the Vault of Glass boots so I could reach level 34 quicker, but I am working on that. I usually use the Thunder Devil shader with this gear set. Actually, scratch that, I pretty much use Thunder Devil with every gear set in the game because of how awesome it looks. Until I get a Dead Orbit shader, it's still my favourite shader. Can't go wrong with it. Alright, so let's move on to my tie-in. Starting with the Vault of Glass, we have the Battle Cage of Karba Helm, Karba's Brazen Grips and Karba's Forceful Greaves. I still need the chest piece to complete the set, mind you. For the Titan, there are two exotic leg pieces, first of which is the MK44 Standard Sides, which increases the shoulder charge period before you activate it. It's pretty decent for PvP if melee kills are your thing. And the same goes for, I guess, the Peregrine Greaves, which increases the damage shoulder charge does whilst airborne. So basically an overpowered Muay kick to the face to any Guardian who dares come within 3 feet of you. Moving on to the chest pieces, we have the Armamentarium, Carry an Extra Grenade, Nothing Crazy, and Crest of Alpha Lupi, same perks as the Hunter version. Swiftly moving on to the exotic helms, we have Helm of Inmost Light, which gives you Death from Above and Headstrong, freeing up 2 perk slots. Helm of Saint 14, which blinds anyone who enters your Ward of Dawn, my personal favourite. And Insurmountable Skullfort, which regenerates health with melee attacks. Eternal Warrior, which provides unstoppable, and to finish off the exotics for the Titan, we have Glasshouse, which increases how long your bubbles last. So this is what the Vault of Glass gear looks like without any shaders. Not too shabby, right? Even with the random chest piece. Next we have the Crota's End raid gear. Kicking things off is the Willbreaker's Watch combined with the Willbreaker's Fist, Willbreaker's Resolve and Greaves. And then we have the Mark of the Pit as the designer bot towel from the raid. And this is how it all looks in Cryptographic and Glow Hue. And finally we have the Prison of Elders gear set for the Titan. This one is actually just silly. Look at that stupid helmet. Again, I've got Thunder Devil equipped. No other shader can make this look any more half decent. So we have the Kelslayer's helm, grips, cuirass and greaves. And as tradition, the bot tower making a timely appearance here is the Mark of the Kelslayer. And this, my friends, is why I don't use any other shader. I have no words, literally. Okay, on to my third and final character, the Warlock, and look at this beast. Just look at this helmet. It looks so freaking good, man. The number of shards, energies and motes of light I had to burn through just to buy enough exotic engrams to land this one helmet, worth it. Let's take a look at it up close. The main perk here is lifesteal on every melee hit with the ram. Literally everyone has been using this ever since its release with House of Wolves. And next to that we have the Scholar of Dire Ahamkara, which increases your armor when you activate Nova Bomb and improves the energy drain melee. Then we have the Apotheosis Veil. I used to hot swap between this and the Crota Helm during hard mode so I could regen health with the Orb pickup perk, but with the release of House of Wolves, the raid is now ridiculously easy that I hardly even use it anymore. Next we have the Light Beyond Nemesis, the Warlock's answer to the Titan and Hunter's Crest of Alpha Lupi. Purely a support exotic enabling faster revives and again health regen. And lastly we have Obsidian Mine, easily my favourite helm for the Warlock because of how good it is when paired with bad juju. Constant Nova Bombs, hell yeah, count me in. The claws of Ahamkara are pretty mediocre. They basically give you an extra charged melee, so instead of 1 you have 2. Can't see much use for it to be honest, purely a collector's items for me. Next we have the Nothing Manacles, another House of Wolves exotic which provides tracking for scatter grenades as well as giving you another scatter grenade. Very good perks, and one that I've been seeing people use a lot in Trials of Osiris. Those grenades will take you out in 1 hit even if you're not hurt. That's how ridiculously good they are. Then we have the Sunbreakers, another new purchase for me from Zer. I know he's sold them like a billion times, but for some reason or other I kept missing out on them. One of the few armor pieces I actually had no luck in getting to drop. A decent perk providing an increased solar grenade duration, not bad at all. And to finish off the exotic armor pieces for the Warlock, we have 4 chest pieces. Starting with the Void Fang Vestments, which improve your action bolt. Pretty weak exotic when compared to what the other chest pieces have to offer, if I'm quite honest. Next we have the Purifier Robes, another new key exotic for the Warlock. Its special perk is that it disorientates enemies when Radiance is activated from death. Think of it kind of like a flashbang grenade, that kind of effect. Second to last we have Starfire Protocol, a very good exotic providing additional fusion grenade, freeing up a perk slot in your Sunsinger subclass. And finally the Heart of the Praxic Fire, which decreases all cooldowns when Radiance is active. Constant fusion grenades as long as your discipline is maxed out. Unfortunately there's no leg pieces for the Warlock just yet, but overall decent selection to choose from, so not too much of a loss there. Moving on, we have the Vault of Glass gear set. Again, I am missing the chest piece armor, so having to use the Crota's End chest piece here. But we start off with the Facade of the Hazen Lords, Gloves of the Hazen Lords, and Tread of the Hazen Lords. And finishing off with Fragment of the Prime, and this is how it all looks with the Chatter White Shader equipped. If we switch over to the Crota's End raid gear, we start up top with the Deathsinger's Gaze, work our way down to the Deathsinger's Grip, Deathsinger's Mantle, and the Deathsinger's Herald. The class item here is the Bone Circlet, and this is how it all looks in the Crota's End shaders. To finish off the gear sets, we're going to take a look at the Prison of Elders gear set. So first we have the Kelsbreaker's Mine, followed by the Kelbreaker's Gloves, again missing the chest piece, and finishing off with the Kelbreaker's Path. The class item is Dread's Enmity, which basically has 2 massive spikes sticking out of your elbow. Weird, right? And that's it. So just to recap, the only exotic weapons I'm missing are Necrochasm, which is the auto rifle from Crota's End hard mode, which you get from upgrading Eidolon Ally using the Crux of Crota. I'm missing Queenbreaker's Bow, which is the hybrid fusion rifle, Dreg's Promise, which is a sidearm, and Lord of Rules, which is a burst fire shotgun. Now the last 3 you can get from the Elder Cypher from Prison of Elders. The only exotic armor piece I'm missing is the Bones of Ao, an exotic hunter leg armor piece that gives an additional jump. So it converts double to triple and triple to quadruple jump. I'm working on getting the Lord of Wolves shotgun as we speak. I've got the Elder Cypher halfway completed. I just need to run Prison of Elders I think a couple more times until I earn it. So that's going to be one more checked off the list. As for the raid weapons and armor, as mentioned previously, all I'm missing are the Vault of Glass chest pieces for both Titan and Warlock, and Praetorian Foil with the fusion rifle from hard mode Vault of Glass. As for Prison of Elders, to be honest, the perks in the gear set are very average. and very specific, so I don't see why anyone would grind to get any of it. Having said that, if I was to complete this set, I'd need the Hunter and Titan boots and the Warlock chest. Again, with the weapons, I've dismantled so many of the guns I've received from Judgment Chance packages and weapon cores because of how mediocre they are. There's just far better guns in the game to be spending your time trying to achieve. The main things I'm shooting for here are the Trials of Osiris items like the Exile gear set for each character purely for the cosmetic factor. The armor pieces look really good. Out of all the weapons, the only ones that caught my eye were the hand cannon, which is Jewel of Osiris, and the Messenger Scout Rifle. Mainly because I've died to them countless times in the Crucible or during Iron Banner, not to mention Trials of Osiris itself. And that just leaves the Iron Banner and Queen's Wrath here. The only guns I want are the ones mentioned here. Somehow I've managed to collect 7 of the 10 Queen's Wrath weapons, but I haven't been actively searching for them since, like the Prison of Elders weapons, they are underwhelming and there are tons of guns that have better stats and perks. I still have yet to collect an Iron Banner gear set for either one of my characters, so that might be next on my list of things to do until the Taken King drops. But I honestly think I'm due an extended break from Destiny until at least September when the next expansion hits. I know this video has been long, but I thought you guys who play Destiny as much as I do would appreciate the things I've gone through and shown within this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, leave a thumbs up and I'll see you guys on the next video.